I'd like to call this meeting of the Monticello City Council to order. Would you please rise and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance? Remain standing as Alderman Burris leads us in prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father God, thank you so much for once again bringing us together. We ask for you to give us wisdom as we make decisions and look at new things. And we pray for peace in our town. Thank you. We praise your name. Amen.
Amen. Roll call, please, Jill.
Miss Muse,
Here.
Mr. Woodham,
Here.
Mr. Clark,
Here.
Mr. Reed,
Here.
Ms. Boat,
Here.
Mr. Brock,
Here.
Mr. Burris,
Here.
Mr. Kuhn.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Public participation, in-person participation. This is an opportunity for the public to provide public comment to the presiding officer. Those wishing to speak are required to sign in prior to commencement of the meeting and must address council from the seat and table provided. The public comments must comply with ordinance 2014-02 and be limited to 5 minutes or less. Is there anyone on the sheet?
No one on the sheet.
Thank you very much. Remote participation. This is an opportunity for the public to provide public comment to the presiding officer. The public comments must comply with ordinance 2014-02 and be limited to 5 minutes or less. At this time, members of the public are able to attend public meetings by web conference and to submit public comment by email, voicemail, or through web conference. Is there anyone speaking tonight?
There is none.
Thank you. Consent agenda. Approval of documents and action items is listed. Claims report, claims dated February 14, 2023 through February 27, 2023. Meeting minutes, city council meeting minutes, February 13, 2023. Budget report, January 2023. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
Move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any comments or questions? Hearing or seeing none, may I have a roll call, please, Jill?
Miss Muse,
Yes.
Mr. Woodham,
Yes.
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Ms. Boat,
Yes.
Mr. Brock,
Yes.
Mr. Burris,
Yes.
Mr. Kuhn.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Mayor's report this evening. I'd like to welcome Chief Ross to his first official meeting as police chief. Hope you had a good day today. The other item that I have is a reminder that on Saturday, March the 11th at 9 o'clock, from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock at the municipal building, there's going to be a meet and talk with the chief. If need be, it'll go longer than 10 o'clock. He's assured me that that would be okay. So I would encourage any of you who want to meet the new police chief and have any questions or concerns, you might address him at that time. Moving on to new business, resolution 2023-10, a resolution regarding personnel policies, anti-harassment. Mr. Summers.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Currently, we do not have an anti-harassment policy in the personnel, full-time personnel policy. We would like to create one. Maura assisted this with me on this and document. I think the city strives to create and maintain a work environment in which people are treated with dignity, decency, and respect. Through enforcement of this policy and by education of employees, the city of Monticello will seek to prevent, correct, and discipline behavior that violates said policy. It is recommended the city council discuss and approve resolution 2023-10 as presented, thus approving this addition to the city of Monticello full-time employee policy manual.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve resolution 2023-10, a resolution regarding personnel policies, anti-harassment?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any comments or questions of Terry? I think it's
I was going to say, is there
added.
going to be training provided as well, like prohibited harassment training? We already have, I know we already have some form of that now.
We have sexual harassment training that is mandatory by law annually, but we probably should have some
Yeah, prohibited harassment training.
Sure. So I'm sure that can be arranged.
Is there anything in there that just talks about specifics? If, somebody claims that there's harassment, how that is handled? Accuser gets the opportunity to defend themselves, and
Yes, there's step-by-step procedure.
there is in this. Okay.
Page 6.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Got it.
Anyone else? Hearing or seeing no one, may have a roll call, please.
Ms. Muse,
Yes.
Mr. Woodham,
Yes.
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Ms. Vogt,
Yes.
Mr. Brock,
Yes.
Mr. Burris,
Yes.
Mr. Coon.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to fiscal year 2023 budget and appropriation ordinance discussion only. Mr. Summers?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So ahead of next city council meeting, March 13th, where council will be provided the appropriation ordinance for discussion and approval. I wanted to, we've had some discussions, the mayor and I and staff, and wanted to kind of go over some additional items that we would like to propose in the FY 2023 budget. For tonight's discussion, I kind of want to go over where we ended in FY 2022. And you've all got, you should have front and back of the notes that I'm going to talk about tonight. So in December 2022 budget report, you'll see the general fund expenditures for FY 22. In that budget, it was approved of reserved spending of $795,000. And that is due to a witness in increased revenues and in conjunction with conservative estimates at the beginning of the fiscal year. So, and like we've done in the last three or four years, I think, we have used those extra monies, if you will, and reinvested in the city equipment, pension fund, wherever we can. So in the FY 22 budget, the approved expenditures were $5,622,000. We actually spent $5,234,600. So we spent less in the general fund revenues. The approved estimate of revenues for FY 22 was $4,827,000. The actual was $8,556,672. A large portion of that, a lot of the revenue line items were over the estimated revenue, but obviously the big one was the CPPRT for last year. At this time, I'd like to call out the December's treasurer's report. The general fund balance in the treasurer's report shows a balance of $9,016,598. So in the FY 23 general fund budget, the estimated general fund revenues are $6,003,033. The approved general fund expenditures, $6,857,461. So the FY 23 budget that just began this January, the approved general fund budget reserve spending was in the amount of $854,428. So in recent discussions, we would like to purchase an additional 2 squads for the Monticello Police Department. In their approved 23 budget, the equipment replacement was $50,000 for 1 squad. We would like to propose adding an additional $65,000 for 2 additional squads. and trading in the 2019 Ford Expedition. And that should be 2013 Chevy Impala for a new equipment replacement of $115,000. In the Public Works Department, building maintenance was approved at $44,500, which included generators, Public Works building and maintenance shed. We'd like to propose adding $7,500 for overhead doors at the transfer station driving range and $3,200 for a new gas service with a generator at the Public Works building. So a new proposed expenditure for that line item would be $55,200. The gas service for the Public Works building, it was our understanding the existing gas service was capable. It is not. We need a new, larger gas service, so that was why the $3,200. Back page, maintaining, staying with Public Works vehicle and equipment maintenance program was approved at $75,000 for routine maintenance activities and additional funds for the new logo stickers on the Public Works fleet. We have 4 large, the large dump trucks. We'd like to add $9,000 to wrap the cabs of 3 of those dump trucks. They're the faded school bus yellow. We'd like to wrap them in a white. I put the logo over that white. And then equipment replacement program approved $55,500. That included for pallet racking, in-loader tires, snow blade, and sandblasting and painting one of the big trucks. We would propose adding $10,000 for a flatbed trailer with electric brakes. Our current flatbed trailer is in disrepair. It does not have any electric brakes on it. It's almost unsafe to drive, pull behind one of the big trucks. We saw a used one in good condition for $7,000. That one's already sold. So we'd like to see if we can find a used flatbed trailer with electric brakes for $10,000 or thereabouts. So the new proposed line item would be $65,500. Recreation Department in the football program, in the current budget, it's approved $6,000. We add $2,000 to cover the cost of football helmets. And I got a chuckle when I saw this. They were ordered in June of 2021 and we just received them. So that new line item would go from $6,000 to $8,000. So with all of that being said, general fund revenues estimated, we would propose no amendment, $6,003,33. And the proposed general fund expenditures with all of this being said would be $6,954,160. And that would be a proposed general fund budget reserve spending of $951,128.
Comments, questions?
These would be reflected next council meeting, March 13th, in the appropriation ordinance. And we always, in the appropriation ordinance, in categories, we add 10%. We've done that for many, many years now. And part of the reason for that is for if something were to come up, we've got 10% of flux in there a little bit. So you take a football helmet, what was it, $250 or something a piece. We have $6,000 in the current approved budget. So we'll get $600 extra in the appropriation ordinance in case we break 2 helmets and we got a little bit of money to spend without amending the appropriation ordinance. So that's why there's that 10%.
How big are those kids if they're gonna break $250 helmets?
That's cheap.
That's cheap.
Yeah, that material can't be too cheap right now. Resin shortage, everything.
We're paying $500 to $600 right now for new helmets.
High school helmets, $600.
I know the helmets I've wore were not that much.
They were
Could
leather
explain a lot.
back then, right?
Leather wasn't as expensive as the stuff they used.
Yeah. Didn't have.
The Expedition is the one that the former chief used to drive?
Yeah.
Still in,
Yeah, the Expedition, we were talking about outfitting it with a couple of racks. The police department, I've obviously spoken with Chief Bross. There is no use for that Ford Expedition. It is definitely not wanted. It brings a really good trade-in value. That's why we're only increasing $65,000 for two. They will be Ford Explorer Interceptors police pursuit vehicles is what we'll be purchasing.
What's a new trailer cost? Have you got one lined up for 10,000, you think, or are you just thinking you can get one for?
A new trailer, I believe Trevor said could run $25,000.
What's your odds of finding a $10,000 good one?
They've found some out there.
Okay.
Yep.
I didn't know how hot an item they were. You know, it's one of those things that's worthwhile getting a new one versus trying to find an overpriced used one.
Yeah. Trevor found a really good one for $7,000 that he just missed out on.
Mr.
Anyone
Summers?
Yes.
Yes. I just had a question. I want to make sure that I understand. The Expedition you're talking about, this is a different one from the Expedition that was going to get retrofitted that needed some additional equipment put into it to make it a working police vehicle? Or are we talking about the same Expedition?
It's the same Expedition.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was clear on that.
Anyone else?
So are these, you've collected like additional requests and we're doing all this at once. Is that typically how that works, or do they that way they don't trickle in? Or do you ask departments if they need things, or these are just needs that have come up since the budget was?
It's all of that.
Yeah.
So in the past, we have passed the appropriation ordinance in January. And that's before we even get the December numbers.
Right.
So we had to amend the appropriation a couple of different times. So as we end the prior fiscal year, we get the numbers in. Some things come to light that we need. When we put the new logos on the school bus faded yellow trucks, it is absolutely horrendous. We're going to keep these trucks for 5+ years. If you've witnessed the fleet, the guys have done a great job. The fleet looks really good. I think most, not all the vehicles have already got the new logos on them. They look really good. We're going to keep these trucks. That's why we're adding that piece to it.
I don't have any problem with anything added. I just didn't know what the procedure typically is. So by January or February, there was an appropriation typically every year that has a few extra things.
Yeah, it's got to be passed in the first quarter. And in my opinion, there's value to just waiting a little bit, seeing those numbers come in. We've been fortunate with the revenues, but it may be that we're not fortunate with the revenues and I'm coming in here. I'd like to remove this from the budget. You know what I mean? So, these are expenditures that have been identified by staff, department heads.
If you wrap the cabs of those trucks, you're going to paint the beds in, or they're going to be yellow and white?
The beds will remain the color they are.
Okay, they're yellow.
Yep.
Okay.
Anyone else? Seems like you're on the right path.
So we will
What do you have to
revisions.
make the revisions? There won't be any secret ones, right?
No,
Okay.
there won't be, Mr. Mayor.
I'm just checking. Anything else? Moving on to Alderman's reports. Ashley, are you there?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
You have a report?
Nothing this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you. Brian?
Nothing to report, Mr. Mayor.
Ian?
Same, nothing tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Thomas? Michael?
Just one thing that I'm sure you've seen that we're starting brush pickup right next Tuesday. And that's first Tuesday of the month typically starting in.
I believe we're starting the first Tuesday in March.
Yeah. So.
Not April. March, not April, because one place it says April. So that's why I think there's a little confusion. So it's starting first Tuesday in March.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, and city they do an outstanding job
Yes, they do.
taking care of that. So it's a great service.
That it?
I got.
I mean,
Nothing tonight?
Nothing, when will landfill open? Mid-March, maybe first April,
When weather permits, it's open.
weather permitting.
It's almost open year round now, when weather permits, so.
Nothing.
nothing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mary?
Tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Police chief's report.
We did start getting people to, that want to renew their golf cart permits. So that's kind of nice rather than us reminding them. We did run into an issue of printing said permits. So I contacted Fast Prints here in town. We're playing phone tag with Scott. We're going to have them print off about 100 to 200 of our golf cart tags. And then we will just issue people the 2023, 24, 25 sticker, whatever we need to do. And just kind of streamline that instead of piecemealing it here and there. Wendy can just give them the stickers, they can put it on, and it'll be a done deal. I did speak with the chairperson of the merit board. We would like to obviously put out for, we went through one list already. I'd like to put out for full-time, part-time, and lateral hires. Not a lot of people know about our lateral officer program. Pretty much just requires an officer to be certified in the state of Illinois, a minimum of 2 years at their current department, and then they can transfer over to us. And there is a bump in pay from the beginning level. We would like to really start pushing that, maybe get some people that work for maybe smaller agencies that have been there a little bit, that want to get a little taste of a nice mid-size, town. Just really kind of push that information out. We're going to meet here the next couple of weeks just to make sure everyone on the city side and on the merit board understands where everyone's coming from, make sure we're doing everything above board legally. Not to say that it hasn't been done, but we just want to make sure to dot our I's and cross our T's before we get too far down, the rabbit hole. Wendy was an absolute help and printed off all of the officers' training records. So tonight I'm going to go home and see where we're deficient. And I say deficient, we do have some time, usually 2 or 3 years, to get all the training requirements involved, see what we need. A lot of it's going to be use of force and scenario-based training because that's what the state of Illinois really pushed. My hope is to, in April, May, June, and July, really start getting some of these requirements knocked out. That way we aren't going to be behind the 8 ball, say later this year, later next year. We need someone that has very little to no training, and we need to get them a week's worth, 2 days before Christmas. So that's what we'd like to really hammer out sooner. That way we don't get surprised later. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any questions? City administrators report.
Nothing tonight.
Be still my heart. Is there a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Aye. See you in 2 weeks.